My name is Dani LeBerry. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a certified addictions professional, and thank you for checking out my second video. If this is your first time watching my video, let me give you a little bit of background information about myself. I have been in the substance abuse or addictions and mental health field for about 10 to 11 years now, and I started this channel with hopes that it supports people, especially women, who suffer from addictions. Because there's such a stigma, though, with the word addiction, rather than calling it an addiction, we call it an affinity. So, an affinity for unhealthy relationships, an affinity for sex, an affinity for alcohol. And so we call it affinity care. So yeah, that's me. I'm the founder of Affinity Care. So today's topic is relationships. Now, I don't really know what about relationships. Someone requested that I do this video, but they didn't specify. So what I'm going to talk about will be two specific things about relationships. One is, let me mention this. So I remember when I used to facilitate group therapy sessions at a particular place with all women. And it was really funny because I remember I used to tell the ladies, when you walk out this door, you're going to do what you want to do. And it doesn't matter what I share, what I suggest, you're going to do what you want to do. So what I told them is, it was funny, I said it in an endearing way because it was meant in an affectionate way, but yet it was true. So here's what I will say that I found to be effective. I used to tell them this. When you get to a situation or a decision and you're really not sure if it is the right decision, stop and think and ask yourself, is this person or is this relationship conducive to your abstinence from your affinity? Is this going to support you with your why, which which hopefully if you're watching this video, your why. If you don't, then I suggest to stop and pick up on that maybe path of your journey, getting a little introspective and looking at what is your why, what's your purpose. But anyway, back to this. So is this person supportive of that? And so like I said, I used to tell them, you're going to know you better than I know you. You know you better than anybody knows you. And you're the only person that's going to really know deep down inside, deep down, because I feel that everybody really does truly know deep down inside what they're supposed to do. It's a matter of doing it. And it's really important to take a look at who we are when no one's watching. So you can do and say whatever you want and agree to do whatever you want, but really taking a look at yourself and being honest with yourself when no one's really around. So that's my first thing of stopping and asking yourself, is this conducive to my abstinence from my affinity? Is this relationship or person? Second thing I'll say is, on the topic of relationships, I'm guessing, I don't know if this was what they were asking me to talk about, but I think that maybe some people may be able to relate to this. Sorry. So say that you're in a relationship that you cannot get out of because of some crazy, it doesn't have to be crazy, some kind of circumstance. For some reason, you're unable to get out of the relationship. People tell you just get divorced, you just break up, but you can't. Maybe there are children involved. There could be a lot of situations where you just cannot get out of the relationship for some reason. This doesn't necessarily have to apply to that. This could also, as I've been processing it in my head, can also apply to situations that you cannot get out of. You can't ignore them. You can't run away from them. You basically need to learn how to adapt and manage yourself in response to this situation that you just don't want to be in. So the way to handle this, really stop, take a breath, get grounded, and really genuinely try to think about, I would say 10 things. If you can't think of 10, then start with 3 to 5. Things that you can truly be grateful for in this situation. Like you really know in your heart of hearts that if you really stopped and tried, you can think of a couple of things to be grateful for, despite the circumstance. Say that though, you're like, you know what, Dani, I've tried that. It just doesn't work. I can't. Like it doesn't do anything for me. Say that you really gave it a good shot and you just can't think of 3 to 5 things that you can be grateful for. Then instead of focusing outward, focus inward and giving yourself some affirmations. I'm doing the best that I can. The situation could be worse. This is temporary. This isn't permanent. You know, whatever it is that's going to speak to your own truth, that's what you need to tell yourself. And the more and more I've learned, not even learned, but the more and more I've practiced affirming myself with that power in being general. Don't get too specific, but just getting general, because general feels comfortable and it feels good. It feels genuine, feels authentic. It feels realistic of saying, Dani, I'm doing the best that I can right now. Dani, I know that this is temporary. This is temporary, Dani. You know, saying those things, it feels good. And I can feel like I'm being honest with myself. And the more and more I've done that, I've learned and noticed that how much of the world is in here. I think if you've watched my last video, my first one about keeping the past in the past, I was talking about how much I've been learning the world is in here. It's not out here. These are just things that occur and it's all about how I'm responding to them, right? That cliche. But it really is. That's really when I start talking to myself in that way, it starts to develop some sort of like truth. I could agree with that. You know what? This is a crappy situation, but I could agree that we're doing the best that we can. And I start developing a rapport with myself, a relationship with myself, and realizing that this is the world in here. So I hope that that makes sense. As you guys know, I am open to feedback. So please send me messages. My website's affinitycarenow.com. Check it out. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.